What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 24 League Racing, and we are back for round number 6 of season 4 of the Streamers & Co VRL. It is the first season that we are doing in F1 24, and it is time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Now, those of you who have watched my videos, especially on F1 24, I appreciate that we've not got there in the My Team career mode yet, but when I did F2, for example, I had a really difficult time around Hungary, and when I've raced here casually as well, I've had a similarly tough time. So the fact that it's a sprint weekend this weekend is not something I'm particularly looking forward to, let's just say that. I'm hoping that we will be able to have a decent time of things here, maybe sneak into the points or something like that, but I don't expect the heroic performances that we've been putting on in the races up to this point. And I only managed to get one lap in sprint qualifying. It was a 1:15.7. It's good enough for P11 at the moment, but as the session went on, I got pushed down into P13. It was Alfie in the Ferrari who ended up finishing top, just ahead of my teammate Bjarni and Clifford in the Sauber, and then it was Andy, Liam, Ryan, Alex, Stadebody, Phil, Ryan Harris, Anto, Jermaine, myself, Costa just behind me in the other kick Sauber, and then once the thing scrolls down, we'll see KK in 15th, Carl, RC, and Simple serving a qualifying ban. Did not set a time. So yeah, that was the results of qualifying there. Hopefully we'll be able to make a good result here, at least make things competitive. Maybe I'll be able to sneak into 8th place to grab 1 point or something like that, but we'll have to have a very good race here, I think, for that to be any kind of reality for us. Now the softs around here are absolutely garbage. They last like not even 5 laps, honestly. So yeah, we're just going to be going on to the mediums, taking the mediums to the end of the race. You can see for a second here I adjusted my fuel slightly at the end there, just to maybe take a bit of weight out of the car, make myself a little bit faster, make things a bit more competitive, because there might be a safety car, you never know. And we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've had a nice getaway there compared to Jermaine in P12, but I think he was slightly faster through the second phase by the looks of things. However, Phil has had an absolutely shocking getaway, and I think we're already going to be poised to overtake him. Going to try and go around the outside of Anto and Jermaine. I think we're about 4 wide going into turn 1 there, and Phil around the outside. He managed to get a bit of a dream run around the outside to get back ahead of a few people who'd overtaken him off the start, but we do manage to make up the place on Jermaine regardless. Phil and Anto making a little bit of contact there, and that is going to be P12 off the start for me, getting ahead of Jermaine. Nice to do that, because as I'm sure you guys remember, last weekend in Canada we had a really difficult time of things with Jermaine, where he ended up causing us to just go backwards in the race. We got stuck behind him and we couldn't overtake him no matter what happened, even though there were people that were carving their way past the both of us. So yeah, that was an immensely frustrating situation. You might have seen Captain Liam going off the track there as well, so that's promoted us up another position. But yeah, for me, I think it's going to be key this time that we don't fall back into the clutches of Jermaine behind if we can avoid it, because that is going to probably harm any hope we have of making any progress further up the field. So yeah, as we make our way towards the end of lap number 1, it's been a decent first lap, a good amount of progress made on this opening lap, but we're still going to need to make at least 3 more positions up if we want to have any chance of scoring a point here today. Obviously, penalties are always a thing, and I'm sure there probably will be some penalties applied around Hungary. You'd have to imagine it's quite a difficult track to overtake, and some people will undoubtedly get quite impatient at times and try and go for some moves. But as we progress our way through the sprint race, you will see here that I haven't really had much of a difference made. The first position that changed after that point was when Stadebody had a bit of an off at turn 6, and that allowed me to make up 1 position into P10. But I'm in a bit of a no man's land at the moment, with Anto and KK both more than a second either side of me. However, as we make our way onto lap number 8, you'll see here, if you look down in the bottom right hand corner, that my fuel is starting to run low. I think Andy has had a bit of a moment there, and now he's starting to fall back into my clutches potentially. And there's also a Ferrari there. I think that's Alex. He's had a bit of a tough time of things as well. So all of a sudden there's 2 cars that are quite close in front of me, and not only that, but also Stadebody behind. He he has pretty decent pace, certainly a bit more pace than I do, you'd have to say. So he's kind of been dragging the cars that were over a second behind me back towards me now, which is not really something that I was particularly happy about, to be honest, because I had definitely got the likes of Jermaine and KK's number in this race, but now they're kind of being pulled back towards me with that DRS. So I will have the DRS on Andy and on Alex going through the next few laps. Especially as it seems Andy maybe has some kind of damage. He's going quite slowly compared to how he was going at the start of this race. So not quite sure what's happening with him. But either way, as we make our way towards the end of lap number 9 and the start of lap number 10, you can see that we were a lot closer to Andy this time. And yeah, we're going to try and go for a move down the inside. But he turns into me there when I was already going for the move. Not really sure what he was hoping to accomplish there. And as a result of that, I've now lost 2 positions. Plus not making up the initial position that I tried to make up. So yeah, Stayed Body and Jermaine both getting ahead of me there. Immensely frustrating, and not really sure what Andy was trying to accomplish there. You know, the stewards put that down to being a racing incident, but I'm not sure I personally agree with that. He definitely, when he saw that I was going for the move, probably should have at least tried to make some sort of attempt to not turn into me. So yeah, not really sure what's going on with that. Meanwhile, you can see there's more debris flying there. Not sure if that was Jermaine or Andy or who that was, but yeah, somebody maybe is going to be going a bit slowly now. Andy also has a 3-second penalty, so we're going to be finishing ahead of him no matter what, so it should be at least a P11 here. Hopefully we'll be able to get ahead of Jermaine. Like I said, unfortunately we're just being pushed further and further back into him. Meanwhile, I don't think we have to worry about any of the cars behind, because Simple, you can see behind, has a 10-second time penalty, and Liam is a bit too far adrift to make up 7.5 seconds on the final lap. Both RC and KK retiring from the race in short succession on the closing few laps. I think both of them had some sort of crash or something like that. So yeah, both of them will be taking no further part in the sprint, but they will have another opportunity in the race itself. And now you can see that Jermaine has also got a 3-second time penalty, so it's looking like this is going to be a P9 for me here, which isn't a bad result, all things considered. I think Phil maybe had some sort of moment or something. I think he had contact, which caused him to get big damage, and as a result, he was kind of just letting people through. So that's another position I was able to make up here. Alfie winning the sprint race, making good on the qualifying pole that he got. And now we're going to round the final few corners. Andy and Jermaine are going to both be getting 3-second time penalties, but unfortunately that contact with Andy prevented me from racing for the final point with Stayed Body. However, it is not actually going to matter, because I discovered that the reason why Phil ended up moving out of everyone's way is because he got big damage from an accidental contact with Harris, and it was because Harris had a controller disconnect. However, he still got penalised for that, or maybe it was a wheel. I'm not sure if he races on wheel or controller, but either way, he had some apparatus disconnect, and he still got a penalty for that, which actually ended up pushing him down into, I believe it was P9 in the end, which has promoted me up into P8, and so 1 point for myself. So the final order with penalties applied was Alfie, Bjarni, McLean, Clifford, Anto, Alex, Stayed Body, myself, the top 8, and then Harris and Andy rounding out the top 10, with Jermaine, Phil, Liam, Simple, Carl, Costa, and the 2 retirements of KK and RC going forward from that. So yeah, that was the result of the sprint race, but as I'm sure you're aware, it is a sprint weekend, which means that there is going to be an entire other qualifying and race. That is the formula for how things go nowadays. And so yeah, we're going to have to reset, try and go for another qualifying session. Now I was a bit tight on time here for this race, actually, in terms of arriving on time to the race, because I had been out the morning of the race, and things took a little bit longer than I anticipated, and so by the time we got home, I had a bit of a rush to get myself all ready and sorted out for the race. And what that meant was I wasn't able to do my tyre allocations, because I had to go AFK basically as soon as I joined the lobby, and so that was why my first flying lap there was on a set of medium compound tyres, is because I only had 2 sets of softs for this qualifying session, and so I decided, well, I'll go out on a set of mediums to do a banker lap, and then I'll try and build on that if I can. And build on it I did indeed, because we ended up making a 5/10 improvement on a set of soft compound tyres, which is going to see me into the 1:15.5s, good enough for P11, just ahead of Jermaine for the time being. But I definitely know that there is quite a lot more time in this lap if I can reach my maximum potential on this set of soft compound tyres. And you can see that I am improving by quite a decent amount here, by about a 1/10 or so. And I think this corner here was where my biggest improvement was, if I remember correctly. And you can see coming through the corner, we have made up about 0.2 of a second there, so that's actually really good corner from myself. Unfortunately, we just stepped out slightly through the final corner, and that cost me about 0.5, I'd say. And so it's a 1:15.2 in the end, and actually that only put me in P12. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. And it got even worse, actually, because by the end of the session, that put me in P13. I was really shocked that that lap was P13. I thought that lap was deserving of a lot better than that. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, the only driver who I might have been able to beat here would have been Costa. It's Alex and Alfie making it a front row lockout for Ferrari. But yeah, the only driver I think I could have beaten here was probably Costa. You know, just over a tenth ahead of me. I don't think my lap had the 3/10 almost that I would have needed to get with Simple and Stage Body around here. It's just not really my track. Like I said, it's not really a track I go particularly well around. So yeah, like I'm saying, I'm kind of just banking on there being a bit of carnage, a bit of chaos that enables me to get myself up into a decent points paying position here today. So yeah, we are going to be doing a medium hard here. I'm going to be pitting somewhere between sort of lap 13 and 16, I'd imagine. I've gone for the latest one. We're also going to be taking a bit of fuel out of the car to make ourselves a bit lighter, give ourselves a better opportunity off the start. I'm almost certain there's going to be a safety car around here, at least one. It is Monaco without the walls, but that doesn't mean that there is nothing to crash into around here, as you know, I'm sure people will discover over the course of the race. But yeah, we will now focus our attention on the lights, and we will see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And once again, it's been a pretty solid getaway, but nothing particularly special to write home about here. I think we're just going to be holding on to this P13 initially off the start. However, we do have the outside line once again, and that's going to allow us to try and go for a move on both Costa and Simple. But KK, he saw a bit of a gap between myself and Simple there, and he said, you know what, maybe I'll go for this one. And we ended up having a bit of contact with him, actually, and now Jermaine is going to try and go for a move around the outside here as well. But you know, we're wise to it. We're going to make sure that we use up as much space as we can, being fair to him, but also making sure that we you know, stamp our authority on the position we're in. We're not going to just give it away to anyone for free. So it's a P13 hold off the start as we make our way into the second sector of the lap, and it's Captain Liam just ahead of me in the McLaren. Still 3 positions we'll have to make up if we want any chance of getting ourselves into the points here today. But you already know there is definitely going to be some sort of carnage around here that is going to enable me to make up a position or two as we make our way through the second sector now and into the final sector of the lap. Everything you know, going pretty accordingly at the moment, but it does look like someone's going for some sort of move there. I think that's Stage Body going for a move on Costa, who I didn't even realise that was Costa up there. He's an absolutely blinding start if he's all the way up in P9 fighting for P8 already. Yeah, him and Stage Body going wheel to wheel at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see who wins out in that battle ahead. And as we make our way around the final corner now, we are going to be holding on to that P13. So no positions lost, no positions gained off the start. Just a very simple, straightforward hold of the position as we make our way down into turn 1. The DRS now enabled on this lap. Will that enable me to maybe attack some of the cars in front? We will find out. But there is a yellow flag here on lap number 3, and that is for Alfie, the sprint race winner. Absolute disaster for the sprint race winner here, as he finds himself all the way down in P12 now. And yeah, we're going to have to try and focus our attention in front. I don't know what happened with Danto there, but he suddenly started getting out of everyone's way. I don't know if he maybe got some damage or something like that. But yeah, that was a bit bizarre. Has promoted us up into P12 either way. So now we're just going to see if we can focus on the action in front to try and get ourselves you know, capitalise on the incidents that are happening in front to allow us to make up as many positions as we possibly can. But you know, Alfie is a fast driver, so we're going to have to just hope that the cars in front sort of push him back towards us, allow us to stay in his DRS range. Because if he breaks out of that DRS range, you would imagine that Jermaine will be good value to overtake me with the DRS. He's known for going for quite good top speed setups to allow him to make good DRS overtakes. And oh, there's been a bit of an incident there. I think Alfie tried to go for a move on Liam there. It didn't really come off, and he's had a bit of a spin as a result of it, and that's promoted me up now into P10. Not sure who else fell behind me. I think it might have been Costa, possibly. I think he had some sort of incident earlier on the lap. I'm not really sure what happened with that, but either way, yeah, we're into the points now, though I think Alfie is definitely going to try and make his way back ahead of us at the end of this DRS range. You can see that you know, he just has the braking performance to be able to go for it. And as we round the first corner, it is going to be a virtual safety car, actually. Not sure what that is for. I think that might be Costa stopped on track in the final sector. If you look at the mini-map, he is quite a long way off everyone, as is Carl Nelson as well, actually, in the Haas. So yeah, not sure what's happened with that. But either way, yeah, short virtual safety car. Just neutralise the field for a second. It's important that we get a good restart here because I don't want to fall back into 1 second range of Anto behind, and I think we've just about managed to avoid that happening. Alfie not with the greatest restart of all time either, and we're going to stick in his DRS range. However, Anto is massively starting to close us down now, and I don't know whether he will be just in range of us or not, as we are, you know, just trying to make sure that we are good on fuel at the moment. I was checking, we're currently at about plus 0.6, so I think we should be okay. No lift and coast measures having to be done here. It was a bit of a stressful situation in the sprint race, to be honest. You saw that I was running out of fuel and I was quite low on fuel, and I just about ran out across the line, which, you know, things could have gone very differently for me there, as Alfie kind of barges Simple out of his way there, and I take the opportunity to make that overtake as well there. So up now into P9 as we get a bit on the curb there, and I think that might actually allow Anto to go for a move. He tries to look around the outside there, can't quite stick to it, and we're going to be wheel to wheel going up the hill here into turn number 5. Is he going to try and go for a move around the outside? Full balls on the table from Anto. I think he ran off the track, but I think he was already ahead by the time that he did manage to do that. So yeah, my former teammate getting the best of me in that Aston Martin on this occasion. And now as we make our way onto lap number 12, it is another virtual safety car. Not sure who this one's for this time, but what I can tell you is that has perhaps benefited us quite nicely, because this should allow us, hopefully, to box before the virtual safety car ends, I think. If we can do our full pit stop before the virtual safety car ends, that'd be brilliant. But either way, we might get a slight advantage on the cars in front. Sadly, I was a bit nervous with all the sort of penalties that I'd had already this season due to pit lane entry, that I took it quite slowly. That's caused me to fall off the back of Anto, and also into the clutches of Jermaine behind potentially as well. We're going to be going on to a set of hard compound tyres as the VSC restarts. I think we definitely maybe gained a few seconds on anyone who'd already boxed there, but I don't think that's made a change to our overall position. You can see that we are now in P11 when we were actually P10 before that, so I think maybe it's Captain Liam has actually undercut us there, unfortunately. So yeah, we are now once again outside of the points, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities for us to get ourselves back into the points as we get our second track limits warning of the weekend. We're going to have to be careful now, otherwise we are going to be staring down the barrel of a penalty. And as we move towards the end of lap number 16, you might be wondering how I got behind Jermaine. Now, I won't give you the full story of this, but let's just say I had some technical difficulties during that sequence of events between lap 15 and lap 17, which meant that I ended up having my controller disconnect. And as a result of that, it allowed Jermaine to overtake me. But we are now going to try and go for a move back around the outside of our biggest rival in this league. He squeezes us wide, but we just about managed to find room on the outside to stay with him. And then we move up the inside, try and get the move done around the outside. But as we go around the outside, up the hill, we've made a bit of contact with him there. We just didn't have the room to go wheel to wheel through there. And you might have heard that Jermaine ended up in the wall there. I think he's managed to keep going despite that. Not quite out of this race, but certainly now out of the battle between myself and him. It was very, very marginal. You know, I watched that clip back probably about a dozen times, I would say. You know, I got the stewards to look at it. I got outside opinions from other people as well. It was literally, as you can see, the safety car now being deployed on lap number 21. Not sure what this one's for this time. I think there's a McLaren that's round or something like that. So yeah, that was why the safety car came out. We're going to be boxing again for a set of mediums. But yeah, we watched the Jermaine replay time and time again. I was fractionally ahead going into the corner, but I maybe didn't leave him quite enough room on the inside of the corner. That caused him to bounce over the inside curb of the corner, and as a result of that, he then bounced into my car, made the contact. That sent him round, sent me off the track, and almost sent me round as well. So yeah, it very much was a bit of a 50-50 incident there. The stewards made no call on it in the end. It was just deemed a racing incident, and yeah, just unfortunate because it was shaping up to be a very good battle between myself and Jermaine. I was really enjoying the racing between the two of us up to that point, but you know, a marginal incident that could have affected either one of us in a negative way. And right now on the safety car restart, we find ourselves in P9. Unfortunately, I maybe jumped the gun a little bit on the safety car restart there, and that has caused me to be all out of shape. And it's going to allow Ryan to go for a move up the inside of us here. Now, I braked a little bit early there, going into the corner. I won't really talk about that too much because I feel like Harris might be watching this video, but I certainly didn't want to get in his way. Let's say that much. He was a man that was, you know, driving a bit angry this weekend with a bit of a point to prove. And so I was just like, there's no point, I'm not going to be really on his pace, I'll get out of his way and let him crack on with things. As you can see, he's just got ahead of Phil there, and we're going to actually look for a move up the inside of Phil here as well. You know, that was never coming off. I don't really know why I went for that. Pretty much as soon as I went for that move, I even said to myself, that could have ended very badly if it was anyone other than Phil. So yeah, safety car deployed once again. Not sure what's the reason for this one this time. It was telling me to overtake Phil, which I didn't really understand. It actually caused me to go into the back of him there, because I was actually thinking about going for it for a second there. But I'm hoping that this safety car restart we'll be able to get away a little bit cleaner this time, not jump the gun like we did on the previous occasion, as we currently find ourselves in P9 once again. And yeah, I'm going to see if I can maybe make up a few positions on the safety car restart here. I think Phil's mediums are slightly older than... Actually, no, I think we boxed at the same time, thinking about it. He boxed earlier than me initially in the first pit stop, but obviously we're on the second round of pit stops now. So yeah, I think everyone has the same tyres. And yeah, it's just going to be about trying to hold on to the position for as long as I can. But I didn't have a great run through turn 1, and that might be about to invite KK into the fight here, I think. Fortunately, he didn't think about going for the move on that occasion. He was just maybe not quite close enough to go for that one. So yeah, as we make our way through lap number 28 now, we're definitely going to be alright on fuel with both of those safety cars. We've managed to save just over a lap of fuel, all in all, maybe even over that. So yeah, we are going to make our way through lap number 28 in P9, and hopefully everything should be alright for us now to at least get a solid points finish. Both the cars behind us have time penalties as well, so I'm not too concerned about that. But now I'm going to have to be concerned about that, because we went over the track limits for the third time. All of them very marginal track limits violations, but you know, it all adds up at the end of the day, and that's why you've got to be careful around here. We are just starting to fall off the back of Phil now, and that's going to allow KK to go for a move up the inside, make a bit of contact with him there. Just front right to rear left contact. No big deal. You know, he was just going for a move which he was entitled to go for, and I didn't really have an answer to it. But what was annoying was the safety car being deployed for a crash with Costa at the final corner there. Not sure what happened with him there. Didn't look like anyone was even near him. So yeah, very disappointing for Costa there to have that incident happen, and that's kind of gonna you know, really put a downer on things when things were going pretty well for him this weekend. So yeah, we're going to be actually stopping for a final time in this race onto a set of soft compound tyres. Now the softs are estimated they can do about 3 or 4 laps around here before they really start to lose their pace. Obviously I'm going onto a used set of soft compound tyres from qualifying, so make that sort of 2 or 3 laps. But at the end of the day, if I can just have one lap where I have a lot more pace than these medium compound runners, there will be an opportunity for me to make up 1, 2, maybe 3 positions here. And that might be the difference between me scoring points and me not scoring points, especially with this time penalty that I'm facing as well. You would have to say that things are going to be really tricky. There have been 12 retirements, not 12 retirements, there are 12 cars left in this race. There have been 6 retirements from this race, so a third of the field has retired from this Grand Prix, and so it would be very disappointing if I don't get at least a decent points finish. You know, a P9 will not really be good enough around here, so we're going to immediately go for the move on KK here, as he's had a bit of an incident. We've also got better traction than Phil as well by the looks of things, and that's going to allow us to go for a move around the outside of him. So we're up into what is P7 on track. No idea what this is going to be when it comes down to penalties being applied and that kind of thing, so we're going to have to wait and find out with that one. But I'm just going to try and get ahead of as many cars in front of me as I possibly can here. I think Anto has also gone onto a set of softs at the end here, so he'll be pretty quick. He'll be gunning for those positions, but he almost went for a very dangerous move on Clifford there. I don't really know what the motivation was there to even have a look up the inside. You can't overtake people going into that hairpin. It's just flat out dangerous. Basically, the only overtaking spots on this entire circuit are in the first sector, and maybe, if you're feeling really brave, round the outside into turn 5 at the top of the hill at the start of the second sector. So yeah, Anto and Clifford still going a bit wheel to wheel here by the looks of things. Anto desperately trying to make the move through. Obviously he's got no time penalty, so this could be really big points for him if he can keep making his way through. Big contact between the two of them there, and that is going to allow me to go for a run on Anto. We're going to go for the forbidden move round the outside of Anto. We got off the track a little bit, but fortunately we don't get a warning there. And well, you may remember that actually he did the same thing to me earlier in the race, so I have got him back a little bit, perhaps. Anto there going around the outside making my way up into P6 on track. Obviously the 2 cars directly behind me without any time penalties, so you'd have to imagine that this isn't where my finishing position is going to be once the penalties are applied and all that kind of thing. But as we make our way onto the final lap now, we'll see if we can go for maybe 1 or 2 more moves on the cars in front, as Clifford has a big snap through turn 1, and he has a second snap as well. That is going to allow me to definitely make the move on him up into P5 on track, and now it's just going to be a case of maximising the position we're in. I think maybe we've taken the best out of the soft compound tyres now. I think that the likes of Harris and McLean ahead of me, especially on medium compound tyres, they are going to be just that little bit faster than me now, or at least too fast for me to catch by the end of this lap, as I went off the track again there, you can see, and I don't know how I didn't get a warning for that, but it did mean that my total number of warnings here was 3, which is really frustrating, because if even one of those incidents I'd been just a little bit further on the track, we would have been finishing actually P4 here with McLean's penalty applied and everything. But you know, such is the nature of racing. We've been pushed down all the way into, it's going to be P9 here, with penalties yet to be applied, post-race penalties, that is, just the on-track penalties being applied. Harris getting driver of the day for what I believe is a P3 finish there from him, so another solid podium. Good comeback drive from him. He was in P9 or 10, I believe, on the first safety car restart. So yeah, decent result from him. Alex picking up his first win of the season. It's not been the best season for him overall, but I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with this result. And then it's actually Bjarni, my teammate, also picking up a podium, I believe, for the first time this season. He's not had the strongest of seasons, just really struggling to string a solid performance, good consistent laps together, but he will be second on the podium on this occasion. So yeah, a good race from him, and a good race from Alex in P1 and Ryan in P3 as well. Good job from all of those guys. But there were some post-race penalties applied as well. That means that it goes Alex, Bjarni, Harris, Anto, but then Clifford got a 10-second time penalty, which promotes up Phil, McLean, Liam and myself into P8. And then it was KK and actually Jermaine inherited a position off a penalty as well. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.